Good afternoon from the second age of reason. We're here to talk about some things that have been in the news recently. I occasionally have to touch this camera on the screen because it'll ask me a silly question, so don't mind my hands. So, the question of recent might be about UFOs and space aliens. And so, we're going to be talking about those a little bit to begin with. And there was a famous physicist, I believe his name is Stephen Hawking. And Stephen Hawking was worried that because Earth is kind of foolish with things like that, that we're sending so many signals into outer space, the space aliens would find us. And we're not prepared for it yet. Our technologies have been slowing down, and our wisdom hasn't been going up. And so Stephen Hawking thought it would be a dangerous thing, because if they are primitive species as we are, it could easily turn into war and conquest, conquistadors, that sort of a situation. If they are way, way advanced of us, they may just see us as noise, or as dust, or as an obstacle that they'll either go around or go through or get rid of. So I could see his point with that too. Then we'll move on to the next person who talked about it. President George Bush the Senior. He talked about the UFOs, but he didn't talk much about it. He just said, regarding the truth about UFOs, Americans can't handle the truth. Now, what the heck is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to mean that UFOs exist and Americans can't handle that? Or does it mean UFOs don't exist and Americans can't handle that? Or maybe UFOs aren't exactly UFOs at all. They know what they are, and nobody can handle that. Because some people would believe that UFOs, or those aliens, are not really aliens at all. They call them first species. They were here first. And maybe humans are the space aliens. Our mothership crashed here, and we've kind of taken over and forgotten where we've come from, and we don't know how to get back. And the people that we think of as aliens, space aliens, are still here among us. Some of them look like us. And some of them, well, they don't live in outer space so far away. They probably live under the sea, or under the crust of the earth, in the mantle, in subterranean areas. And their ships are able to move through solids and liquids with ease because they've discovered inertial dampers and phase, what's it called? They've discovered field resonance propulsion, which allows them to basically tune into locations and go from here to there without the impediments of inertia. And they're becoming more prevalent because humans have become a threat to the planet. Whether humans are a threat to themselves or not is not the question. It's a threat maybe to the first species, and that they're seeing that we're wrecking the planet for them too. And so they're watching us closely. That's what I think. I don't think they're from far deep space. And the reason is because their spaceships are not reliable enough. They've actually crashed on Earth. And for that to happen, it means that they must be prone to failures of a certain kind. And I think they would probably be okay to fly anywhere in the solar system with no problem at all. But I think to go to even a close star like Alpha Centauri, or further out to the Pleiades, or to the galaxies, you need something much faster and much more reliable than what we've been calling UFOs that have appeared on Earth and crashed from time to time. So, at some point, the government will have to stand and deliver and tell us what the truth is, whatever it is. Or they'll give us a cleverly packaged half-truth or lie, as they have been known to do as well. There are certain threats to the planet, and the scholars have told us kind of what those threats are. Threats, one of which is known as climate change. The mass extinctions that are going on right now are proof of that. And eventually what happens is it becomes so obvious and damage is irreversible. Then you have to wonder if humans are also on the list of endangered species and opt for extinction. The Earth will not go away. It's just that species on the Earth may turn over, whatever. That's another big question. And there was another problem that seemed to come up too from Stephen Hawking. This is kind of interesting. Stephen Hawking was afraid that robots would take over, that humans are not efficient enough. Humans require wages. Humans require health care. Humans require a say in the matter. Democracy, as it were. They want to be represented. They want to have some power in the matter. And of course, the source of production doesn't like that. The source of production likes the elites to have the full say, the final say in the matter. And so Hawking was out saying robots are a threat because they could replace us humans. But do robots consume? That may have an impact on that particular strategic plan. But there's something else that Stephen Hawking came to the conclusion of about those idea of robots taking over. He went one step further. Stephen Hawking went one step further and had determined that robots serve the capitalist elite. And so he now has come to the conclusion that capitalism is what is the greatest threat to humanity. And that could very well be, because once you have the robots and they build all this stuff and produce a sustainable stasis economy, that main idea, humans would think, would be that it would take care of humans. But those are what they would call the surplus population, the useless eaters. And so in that case, you would know that they would come up with a plan to replace the current system, which has some socialist leanings, to replace that with a totally capitalist oligarchy totalitarian regime. That's why I've been saying the three branches of world government now: surveillance, are control, elimination. Surveillance we've just learned about from Edward Snowden. We suspected it for a long time. Then we have control. Control is the banking system. If you don't pay your doctor bill in San Antonio, Texas, try and open a bank account anywhere on the planet. You won't be able to until that score is settled. The only way that could be is if they're all connected as one giant control system, and they are. And finally, elimination. This is where they eliminate the useless eaters and surplus population and other things. So that is also a threat to humanity. Of course, there is the other big threat to humanity, is the nuclear and atomic technologies. They risk blowing everything up. That's one risk. The other risk is mass poisoning, because those substances that generate that huge amount of energy, whether it's for energy or weapons, is also extremely toxic to humans and every other living thing, to carbon life. So that is the other thing that you need to be aware of. And they always couch it in that capitalism has the answer, when all along it's capitalism is the root cause. That's what all the armies and everything are here to defend. This is what the police are here to defend. This is what everything in the laws and the governance and the policing and policies and the whole money system that controls all of humanity and society and all the nations is the capitalism thing. And those that do not cooperate, those that push back and say no, like Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi or Mr. Assad, they get on the target list. Sooner or later, the system will take care of them. What's interesting now is somebody else is pushing back, and we're going to see how that turns out. So, the system of elimination, how is it going to come about? It's in process right now. Your government has voted for it, the American government, with their Trade Promotion Authority and the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and the TPIP and TISA. These are all part of the elimination thing, making corporations the supreme rulers of the planet over the nation states. Nation states are just there to take care of livestock, you and me. And I'm not sure what the relationship is with the first species, if that's involved at all. But, as you know, and so, it's time for you to start writing your Congress and your Parliament about these things. About TPP and TPIP and TISA and CISPA and these things where they're going to be censoring the internet so that you won't be able to communicate. They're going to take over your phone so you won't be able to film how it goes down or protest. They're going to, if anything, if there's any headway made and you come up with a new system, you can be sure that the oligarchy will try to subvert it and co-opt it. So you'll have to be on your guard and stay true to your purpose and see it through and make sure that it doesn't get co-opted and it stays true to its purpose. So, until later, we'll be seeing you. And this concludes lunchtime video around Halloween time. Say hi to the Ood.